Mm.
Hello.
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 Is everyone here?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Welcome to the new episode of the Captain Swan podcast. In this podcast, we are gonna talk about the heart of the Truest believer, which is the first episode of season 3, written by Adam and Eddie. Did you rewatch the episode? Did you do your homework?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Do you remember the episode?
I watch it occasionally. I know pretty much all the clips like the back of my hand at this point.
Okay, there will be a test at the end.
Oh, darn it.
So, before we start talking about the episode, we have just one question from Tumblr. I think people are a bit busy with Christmas, or I don't know, the Doctor Who Christmas special, so they haven't been sending questions. But I have one which is a bit interesting. And an anonymous asks, what do you guys think they are gonna say about Captain Swan during Paleyfest, the next Paleyfest? First of all, I don't even know if there is gonna be a Once Upon a Time panel at Paleyfest. Do you guys remember the last one?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Of course.
That was
It could
fun.
happen.
Yeah, there's been one for the last 2 years, so hopefully in March, I think, there's gonna be another one. Have you guys ever gone to one of these panels?
No, but I want to.
No.
Oh. Haven't gone, but I saw it live streamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paleyfest has live streams, which is better than Comic-Con. Which I hope one day they're gonna do live streams at Comic-Con too, because that's such fun.
Some,
Yeah, I really enjoy the Paleyfest live stream both times that they did it.
Do you remember what they said about Captain Swan last year?
It could
Not with
happen.
my daughter. No, that was Comic-Con, wasn't it?
Start?
No, it was Paley.
Yeah, starts. The-
Start.
I remember the guy asking if Snow and Charming were gonna be protective of Emma if she starts falling for Hook, and Jennifer was like, "Starts?"
I just
Going
remember the bowl of
inside
soup
Rose.
story.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I'm sorry, I don't understand when Robert talks. I just don't. Can anyone explain the bowl of soup story?
Well, he said his friend owned some kind of booth where they sold incense, and some guy came up to buy some, and he asked him what it was, and he said it was incense, and then he walked off and came back again and asked him the same question, and he said it's incense, and the guy walked off and came back a third time and asked him, and he said it's a bowl of soup. Because I guess he got
It's
tired
a
of
fucking
explaining.
bowl of soup.
It's a fucking bowl of soup. Because he got tired of
And then the guy
explaining
answered,
it.
"You're a bowl of soup."
Except-
Oh, yes.
Actually, I think what I remember most was Colin's complete and utter fail at
Yes.
trying to hide. every interview, every time that they asked him if Hook was going to hook up with somebody, God bless his soul, he tried. God bless him, he tried. But it's just, no.
I love the comment like he made, like I think someone asked him about Regina and he's like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm so used to being asked about the other one."
Yeah, even he was surprised. Usually it's always maybe, who knows, could be, possible.
And then there was the whole when Eddie said, "It's been 300 years. Get over it."
Yeah.
Well, you have to understand that one was probably his first on-camera, thing for once. It was the first time he'd ever done anything like that for a TV show that he was involved in. So I think he was still trying to get used to how to field questions and how to not give away too much, but Colin just has one of those expressive faces, so it's hard for him to not say anything. Like they were when they asked him once, and Jen happened to be walking behind him to go to another person or whatever, and they just happened to ask him about Captain Swan, and I know he was trying not to, but his gaze went straight to her as soon as they asked him that question, and it was like boom, you know. But it was cute.
No
And
poker
Taylor
face.
says he also realized he had a thing with the eyebrows.
Yeah.
No one
That was
minds.
Would you want to go next time? It's in New York, right? I think
It's in California.
It's in California.
No, Comic Con is in California, isn't it?
No, they both are.
Comic-Con, there's two. There's two Comic-Cons. There's one in California, and then there's also one in New York.
Yeah,
But
the,
they're- a
Comic
couple
Cons
months apart.
everywhere.
The-
big one
They're the only
is
two I know
in
of.
California.
the big one is in San Diego. I went once. Yeah, the first
Ooh.
year with once. It was in a small room, and yeah, there was still no Captain Swan yet. So
There was not
Actually,
anything yet
after-
at the first Comic Con.
there was a pilot.
Yeah.
Comic-Con I could take or leave just because it's got so much people and so much craziness. But after what Hiddleston did with the Loki shit, I'm sorry, I cannot not go because I have to see that a second time.
Yes.
Everybody who was in that room that got to see him do that, oh, lucky.
Yes.
Another thing that happened this week was there were a lot of end of the year lists from Entertainment Weekly, TV Line, and in the
Yeah.
things we wish will happen next year. There was a comment on TV Line that said, I wish Emma and Hook will get together, but since the True Love's kiss didn't work, that won't happen. And I'm like, True Love's kiss doesn't work with memory loss. It seems like everyone forgets that.
They've
I
only
got- I
shown
mean,
it every year.
Yeah,
I made such a post about this. I went off. I apologize to anyone who saw that.
I can't believe people are so distracted while watching the show. I mean, it happened in season 1 with the Snow and Charming, in season 2 with Rumpel and Belle, and then Jane Espenson even tweeted about it after the last episode. It was like they were reassuring I think Jane did it because she wanted to reassure us, but it was still obvious from the show. It was very obvious. I don't know. People watch the show. I don't know, while sleeping.
Yeah, I think
People see what
they want to see.
selective memory.
Exactly. It's with a lot of people. It's got to be willful ignorance when it comes to this because they just want to go, well, it didn't work, but they ignore the other times that it didn't work. Also, when it was true love, but whatever.
People are used to their ship. They're gonna jump onto anything they can possibly jump onto. Like in the goodbye scene, all the S tiers jumped onto the fact that she gave him a hug and said goodbye to him when she didn't actually touch Hook, and he was the one that had to approach her. So they all latched on to that, saying, "Oh, ST's, blah blah blah." I'm like, but Emma wouldn't do that,
Yeah, and they also kind of ignored that she was like, her whole attitude with Neal was to kind of like, meh, see ya, buddy.
Yeah,
But but with Hook, he approached her, and a second later, that was when she started to cry.
yes.
Yeah, to be fair, it's not like Neal was very emotional during the goodbye. It was like, see you, I think, I guess, I don't know.
He did
have-
say that he thought that he would see them again. And he was the first one to voice that. But it was more like an old friends parting than anything else.
Because Emma and Neal work as old friends. They don't work romantically, but they work as friends. So
Yes.
Not only that, but if they were honestly expecting Emma and Hook to have some grandiose "I love you" farewell scene, then they obviously don't know the characters that well, because that's not their way.
No.
It's not how they are. They can say so much more. They say so much more without saying anything at all.
Just by looking at each other's lips.
The eye sex speaks like volumes, more than words ever can.
And then just saying good was a big step for Emma, because the previous big Captain Swan moments where Hook said something very romantic, very sweet to her, and she just stood there and in silence. Yeah, and she never said anything to him, anything positive to encourage him. But this time she did, and it was important for her development.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Yes, and like I said on the previous one, the parallels to Star Wars, to Friends. I don't see parallels for another unnamed ship, do I? No.
Yeah, the Star Wars parallels are very important because Adam and Eddie are huge Star Wars fanboys.
There's also something so perfect about how, like, Killian just knows how he should handle how he feels about her. It just, he has, like, this sense that he can't, like, he knows when to push and when to not.
Yes.
Yes, and honestly,
It's awesome and perfect.
They were in the middle. I mean, everyone was there. They like to be what is the word? They like to be alone in their moments. They don't like big crowds. So obviously, it wasn't going to be a big declaration. No, that's gonna happen when they're alone, dude.
And about what you said about Hook knowing how to handle it, I think that's a very charming quality. Something charming knows how to do.
Absolutely.
With Snow, but also with Emma. I remember in Broken when it was like, don't push it, Snow, because he knows when Emma needs to be pushed and when she needs to be left alone. That's something Daddy Charming knows how to do.
It's the best.
Yes.
Said it many
It was
times.
the same thing. It was the same thing in Going Home when they saw that she didn't show up for her lunch date with Neal. You know, he went to her to talk to her, but he didn't push her to go to any one person. He just said, you know, don't just be the savior. You got to look for those moments. You can be more than just the savior and saving people. You can have that time for yourself. He wasn't saying go to Neal or don't go to Hook. He was just saying take those moments. You know, they're important. Whereas Snow, God bless her, but it's like she's totally on the Neal train. And
She's the only one.
Very
Yes.
much the only one. And Neal. There's also Neal.
And gold.
I don't know if Gold really cares at this
No,
point.
I think Gold is
Yeah.
more on the side. Weirdly, I think he's more on the Captain Swan because he knows
He
how
is
to
not on
recognize
Hook's
true
side.
love.
No, but he
Gold
is
is
not
on
on
the-
Hook's side. He wants his son to be happy.
No, yes,
Gold
Yeah,
is on
I-
the side.
it's better for
All
him
good
because he knows. He knows Bay is not Emma's true love because he saw it. He's seen it. He's seen how Emma reacts to Hook. So it works for him to have Emma and Hook be like true love because he can make another one of his special potions.
I don't know if Gold Rumpel has really seen how Emma reacts to Hook. I mean, he was off on his own for most of the season. So
Starting in the first episode.
yeah, starting in the
But
first
I'm
episode.
talking about in season 2. Remember?
When did he see them together?
Dude!
When
she
she's
was-
referring
He
to
threatened Hook to go.
Oh, right.
Oh,
I forgot.
yeah,
Oh my
episode
god.
11.
11.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna talk about the episode in a moment, but the last big thing that happened in the Once fandom this week was this big fight or something with Michael Coleman and this one Queen shippers. Did
Oh,
you
Lord.
see that?
Yeah.
I avoided it entirely,
I walked in
saw
the
there
middle
was
of it. It
something.
was
and I did not want to even look at it.
I think
I don't
like,
involve
some of the
myself
things
in
she
that
said,
stuff.
okay, yes, but others I was like, yeah, dude, you have to go back and think about what you said. And don't bring Jen into it, because if you see, Jen got into it and like was like, dude, Michael, don't speak in my behalf.
I don't
Yeah.
think he was deliberately trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I think he just used the wrong words. And yeah, it's true. He should not have tried to speak on behalf of anybody else, because Jen and Lana and Adam and Eddie have been dealing with the Swan Queen crap forever.
Years.
So the last thing that they want to do is deal with more. And in reference to Paley Fest, I have this bad feeling that they're not going to be talking a lot about shipper stuff, because after what happened at Comic-Con and that Swan Queen
God.
crap, I think Adam and Eddie have had it. Literally had it. So I think they're going to work really hard not to bring up. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not going to talk about it, because it always comes up, but they might
gonna try
try to
not to.
keep it as. They're going to try to steer away from those topics so that there won't be any more fights, because the last thing that they're going to want is some other. I'm not trying to pick on anybody's ship, you know, ship and let ship, but you know, God, there's always bad apples in every one of them. Hell, there's even bad apples in our ship. I'm just saying, you know, I don't want to see any more stuff like that happen, because it's going to get to a point where they're just not going to answer Twitters anymore, and they're not going to want to come out and do all these things for us anymore.
Honestly, and there's creators have done that. I mean, Jeff Davis and other creators have quit Twitter just because of that. And honestly, like I said, I'm a big Adam stan, so I always defend Adam. And it's like, dude, there's a video out there that is in for anyone who wants to see it. It's in my Adam Horowitz tag. That Adam about where Adam and Eddie are they are answering questions in the Comic-Con press release things. And Adam looks so defeated. It's hard to watch, because you can see him on his phone, and he's like, and you can see his face falling and falling and falling. And it's like, dude, he's so much better than any other creator out there, and you treat him like crap.
Yeah, I mean, Adam always answers lots of people who aren't looking for a discussion on Twitter. Some of them are just looking for a fight, and there is no way he can convince them of his opinion. He can convince them he's not homophobic or anything else. So he should realize which ones are actually asking valid questions and which ones are just looking to fight with him. And I don't think is very good at that, because sometimes you should learn to leave them alone and don't go looking for discussion with this kind of people from any ship, really.
Yeah, I agree. I think he answers and lets himself get dragged into Twitter fights sometimes that just he doesn't need to be dealing with.
Okay, well, let's start talking about the episode. I just realized we didn't introduce ourselves, and we also have someone new this week,
Exactly.
which, I just forgot about it. So, my name is Serena, my Tumblr is Aligned with Magic, and I have 4 people with me. We are a small group today, and they're gonna introduce themselves.
I guess I go first. I got it right this time, guys.
Yes.
My name is Laura. I'm Imperial Impala on Tumblr. There you go.
Am I next?
Yes.
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 I am Lisa, and I am the Carita shipmate on Tumblr.
And then
I'm Mai, and I'm the charming swashbuckler on Tumblr.
And I'm Stephanie, and I'm bookstore romantic on Tumblr.
okay, and since we have someone new, I'm gonna ask you, when did you start shipping Captain Swan?
When did I start shipping Captain Swan?
Yeah.
Well, when I first saw him in the crocodile, I knew immediately we were in trouble.
Yep.
Because prior to that, I mean, I've always loved Graham. Graham was a super sweet guy, but I never really felt that there was anybody yet that seemed good with Emma. And then the minute that I saw him, I knew that we were definitely in trouble. But I wasn't sure if they were, going to meet. And when episode 5 happened, when she was leaning across from him at that table, and she was talking to him, they were hanging on each other's every word. And I just knew, I was like, yep, that's it. I had never seen anything more perfect in my life, and trust me, I am 35. I have shipped for a long, long, long time before shipping was even called shipping. This one, yes, it's true.
When did it start to be called shipping with Mulder and Scully for, maybe?
Probably. I have never seen two people more perfect for each other in my life. And I honestly cannot imagine them with anybody else. Period.
Alright, well then the episode. Did you like it? I'm starting easy. Did you like the episode? It was
episode-
difficult.
Yes.
Yes.
Believer.
Yes.
Yes. I thought it was
Yes.
a really good start to third season. And it only got better as it went on.
I really like that there weren't any flashbacks,
Yes.
because it let them do a lot.
Well, there was the one that they opened with.
Right.
The one, like the 30-second flashback, but like there wasn't like a flashback storyline that kept them from all the horrible crap happening in the actual present. And I thought that was really good for the premiere.
And I really enjoyed the fact that this season compared to season 2 especially, we all know and we've all laughed about it and even kind of whined about it, the fact that their CGI effects, for all the money you'd think that they should have being a Disney company, you'd think that their CGI effects would be better. Season 2 was kind of Season 3, I am glad of the fact that they haven't relied too much on CGI effects. I was afraid that with Neverland and all the magic and everything that they were going to rely on it too much, but they didn't. They had a really good balance.
Yeah.
The stuff that they had wasn't too oppressive and it didn't look too it didn't look too stupid. It was just the right amount of, effects. I think that they're kind of learning as they go, and I think they've learned a lot since season 1, which is good.
I like that it was more character. Like, it dealt with the whole, how the hell are we going to deal with the fact that we all hated each other at one point in time? And we're all now on the ship working together. How? And the fight was awesome. It was an awesome fight.
I did like how the very first scene was a character scene, and there were a lot of those in the episode, and then in season 3 in general, because I felt like towards the end of season 2 it was a lot of plot, and
Yes.
then some character stuff didn't make sense, wasn't developed enough. So I think they saw the criticism and they tried to correct it, which I really respect them for, because some writers don't listen to their audience,
Yes,
which I mean they shouldn't listen to everyone, because it would be an orgy. I don't know. Emma would have sex with everyone if they started listening to everyone.
Yeah.
But
some
some
orgy.
yeah. Like Jennifer said at Paley Fest, she would start a kissing booth and start kissing everyone. I think she said that at the first Paley Fest.
Yeah, to break the curse.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
the thing they had to keep in mind was, they had to find a balance between, okay, we have to work together as a group to save Henry, but at the same time, we all have our differences. We all have our different ways of going about it, and they had to find that balance. Obviously, Regina hates everybody and doesn't want to work with them, but knows that for Henry's sake, she has to. So for the most of the episode, she's pretty quiet till it gets to the point where she's like, screw this, I'm just going to do it like this. And then the last 2 episodes, she's the one that comes through at the end and saves them all. Whereas Gold is like, screw you, I'm out of here as soon as they touch down. But that's just how Gold is, because he doesn't have faith in anybody. He only cares about himself.
And
So...
kind of.
Weird reference, but Rumpelstiltskin leaving like he did kind of really reminded me, if anyone knows of the Dragonlance book series, there's a character called Racelyn, and he's a mage, and the second book, like, automatically, once they're on the ship, a storm started, everything, he's kind of like, bye guys, I'm out of here, and he just leaves. So I thought, like, I wonder if Adam...
I haven't read those in so long.
I wonder if they knew anything about that, because it was very reminiscent to it for me. But
also, hey, gold eyes.
Yeah, the time eyes. But also, I really appreciated something from season 2 to season 3. I think with the added separation of the season, because you mentioned a lot of the back half of season 2 was plot, but it also it was plot, but it felt a lot like filler, like, because they lost their way.
Yes,
but
and
having
contact them.
Yeah, I honestly think that the back half of season 2 was supposed to be vastly different, but because Colin broke his leg at the last minute, they had to rearrange almost everything.
I mean, I don't think it was all Colin's fault, because I think they changed their mind about where they wanted to go with the show, with the season, at the last minute, or if not at the last minute, really late, because Megan Norrie was talking about how she was supposed to have some storylines with Charming, be his second, and stuff like that. But and then I think Snow and Emma were supposed to be in the Enchanted Forest for longer. And then they changed their minds. I think they got the rights to use Neverland, because even how they killed off Cora, like in episode 16, like in the middle of the season, killing a big bad in the middle of the season, it was such a weird choice. So I think originally it was supposed to be a finale, and then they decided to go to Neverland and change it at the last minute, and it shows.
Plus, then Megan already mentioned that Red was supposed to have a big storyline, and that was why she was promoted to series regular. And remember, she was supposed to have some comments about Emma and Hook, how she was gonna see their connection or something. Remember that?
I don't know if she said that Red was gonna see the connection, or
she said
I think
around I don't remember the exact quote, but
I remember it was when during the episode 7, because it was the red centric episode, and it was at the point where journalists were asking everyone, "Are you gonna hook up with Hook? Are you gonna hook up with Hook?" They were asking everyone, so they asked her, and Megan was like, "I think it's gonna be Hook and Emma." So that's I think that's what she said, because at that point Tallahassee had just there was just Tallahassee, and then it was pretty obvious that it was gonna be Hook and Emma. I mean, people are gonna were saying in season 3 that they were surprised, but it was obvious since episode 6 of season 2, if not episode 5.
Wait, do you mean just like how people claimed it was a surprise that Neal was Balefire? Not.
No, I think people are
I'm sure
said
they
that
have
it was
pointed at
obvious.
that, okay? I did not want Neal to be Balefire. I wanted
Yeah.
Neal to be somebody
I didn't want it to be
different.
Balefire either. I liked the White Rabbit theory.
Yes,
with
that
Neal.
was
And
my
I gotta
favorite.
I gotta say, in 301, my least favorite part of it was Neal's storyline in the Enchanted Forest.
Yes.
I was the most disappointed in that, and mostly in his conversation with Mulan about why Emma didn't mention him or whatever, and how he was afraid of being rejected. And it's like, that's not all you did to her, bud.
Jail.
You wanted him to be the White
Yale.
Rabbit, the same one who molested Snow in the commercial.
Yes,
That White Rabbit.
that
That's
might-
great.
Be there for a second, Serena. I was like, did I miss something?
It took me a minute there.
That's creepy.
Do you honestly think that Neal was going to say anything to make himself look bad?
Nope.
He didn't say anything in New York when Henry was there. He surely as hell didn't say a damn thing around Snow and Charming, because I'm pretty sure he wanted to preserve his face.
And I
But-
still want Charming to punch him. I'm still waiting for that, damn it. I need that punch.
Oh,
also-
I'm pretty sure in episode 12 that shit's gonna go down, because we're all trying to figure out why it is that they decide to send Hook to New York instead of Neal, considering that Neal has more experience in that realm and she has memories of him.
I don't know that it's
Well-
any kind of decision. I think it's going to wind up being they don't really have a choice. It's got to be him. He's the only that at the end, after whatever the hell terrible thing happens, it's only Hook who's actually able to make it out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But I think somewhere
Charming
along
gets
the
his
way,
fight over.
so that he's gonna have to tell them she's not gonna want to talk to me because of blah 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 blah, and then you're gonna get your long-awaited
Yeah.
punch in the face.
I mean, Adam did say that they were gonna deal with the Neal sending Emma to jail thing, but I'm gonna be mean. He also said that they dealt with the Regina killing Graham thing, and they didn't. They cut
They
that
did
scene.
in a deleted
but
scene
they
from
didn't.
the
I mean,
season 1
right?
finale.
They deleted the scene. They didn't even put it in the DVDs. They didn't
I
even
know.
put it. So, I mean, Adam said it, but I'm gonna believe it when I see it.
But honestly,
Yeah, me too.
Because, okay, just like I said, I'm an Adam stan. Also, they treat Regina with kid gloves. It's like, no. Why mention Graham? No. Neal is their friend. Regina's their baby.
Yeah, if you are an Adam stan, I'm gonna be the one who calls him on his shit, because he also said that Graham and Regina maybe played chess in her bedchamber. So I think
We can't go into that. That's just so
Yeah.
terrible. It's
Right.
so
I mean,
terrible.
Right.
yes. Anyway,
They have a tendency to really play up characters as victims, like
Regina
Neal and Regina.
and Rebel.
Regina plays herself up as a victim also. Regina is very much into the whole poor me.
She just
Until
kind
now.
of owned up to her. to herself a bit more this season, though.
Yeah,
She
it's like
kind of
She
took
owns up
ownership
to
of
what
it.
she does, but she doesn't. She still. I don't know. She
Yeah.
feels like she deserves more pity than she gets, I think.
Yeah, in this episode, when Snow said, "I'm so sick of you ruining my life," didn't Regina say, "I ruined your life"? Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't me. I'm not at fault at this. So in the beginning, in this episode we're talking about, she was still playing the victim card. She
See, I thought that the "I ruined your life" was more like, "I ruined your life, you ruined mine
Yeah, that's
first."
how I got it too.
Which is why I think Robin, it would be good for her, because Robin, having dealt with Sheriff of Nottingham and Prince John and all that, knows what it is to deal with somebody like that who has that kind of attitude, and he will call her on her shit.
Exactly.
Oh my god, but
is
Robin
not
pissed
going
me
to
off
let
in this
her get
episode
away with
too.
things.
What did Robin do? I
He
forget.
said that, Rumpelstiltskin spared my life. I owe him a debt.
Oh my
Rumpelstiltskin
God.
almost
Oh my
skinned
God.
you alive. He
was
really
so
didn't kill you because of
stupid.
Belle. You don't owe him nothing.
I mean, it was such a stupid point of view that Rumpel spared his life. It's like when Hook shot Belle, he didn't shoot to kill her. He only shot to maim her. It's like Hook saved Belle's life.
Oh yeah, right.
It's the same.
No, he
It's the
shot-
same reasoning.
He wanted to kill her. He'd be just as
Actually,
happy if she was dead.
If he owes anybody, he owes a debt to Belle.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
it would have been so easy saying, "Hey, Belle is kind of my stepmother. Please help me," because she would want you to help me. But they didn't, because when Belle isn't in the episode, and sometimes even when she is in the episode, they forget about her completely. They only
Yep.
use her as a plot device, not even a plot device, to prop up Rumpel, and then they forget about her. So
You mean
it's
like-
And they need Rumpel to be bad again.
yeah,
You mean like Neal, this person,
yeah.
Neal fired bagel person?
And talking about plot devices, the captain Swan scene on the Jolly Roger about person fires sword. That sword is and that scene, I thought in the future it was gonna be a big Swan fire scene about her having his sword, because she also has it in the promo pictures. So I thought it was gonna be a big deal, and then it was brought up once, and it was still about Hook. It's like, guys, you aren't even trying to have it fair. It's
What's great about that scene, though, is it shows how much they're similar, because Emma is another person who says, "I'm not sentimental," but she's hugely sentimental. And Hook, just in that scene, did the exact same thing for the first time. You know, he says, "I'm not sentimental," but he's hugely sentimental. He kept the sword. He kept Baleflower's robe, which Wendy wound up with in 310 when they come back from Neverland. Like, he's a hugely sentimental person who's just as much
And
like
he
Emma.
gets
No, I'm not
defensive.
sentimental at all.
Emma also.
And
Sorry,
I-
go on.
Sorry, I also like that scene is another point to show how well he knows how to approach Emma and his feelings for her, where they talk for a little while, they have a drink, and then they sit together in companionable silence. Like, they don't even talk, they're just comfortable being alone with each other.
It's
That
beautiful.
says a lot about how far their relationship has come. Is if you think about it, when she was still up top talking with Snow and Charming, he ripped into them both because they were trying, but they were smothering her way too much, and that wasn't what she needed. Hook understands her in a way that no one else does. She didn't need to be coddled. She didn't need to be, "Don't worry, have hope, blah, blah, blah." She wasn't in that headspace. She just needed to be left alone.
I
And
love
Hook-
that Emma blew up at Snow and Charming in that episode. I thought it was great. It was so badly needed. I was like, yes, thank God. You got frustrated with them. It's great.
I mean,
And afterwards, when she was down in just before the the drinking scene, I picture like she goes down and then like Snow and Charming are like, oh no, how do we talk to her? I don't know. And Hook's just like, fuck it, and goes down.
I mean, I wish you would blow up at Regina sometimes. I understand why she doesn't for Henry's sake, but I
Same reason
wish.
why she never told Henry what Neal actually did.
Yeah. But I guess she blows up at Snow and Charming because they are safe. Deep down, she knows that however much she yells at them, they're gonna still love her, always love her. And there's nothing she can do or say to make them stop loving her. So they're safe in a way.
Yes. And honestly, who hasn't wanted to scream at Snow? Like, stop being so optimistic all the time. Please.
And then the big fights on the Jolly Roger were, Snow and Regina, and then Hook and Charming. And I think it's fun to look at their whole journey throughout the first half of season 3. They started fighting, and then this bromance was born.
It started right away because it was Hook who said, you can't just jump in there without a rope, mate. You're going to die. You'll drown just like her. As soon as they stopped fighting, it was like, the start of the bromance.
Technically, it started in the season 2 finale. Well,
Yes.
previously, when...
Yes.
when
Reluctantly
he hit him
started.
with a
Yes,
crowbar.
with a fist.
There's some choking and a crowbar and a punch in the face. It's all love. It really is. They love each
I
other.
fell in love
so
with you
much.
when you hit me over the head with a crowbar. And
I actually,
And now
I
it's, Emma, you think I'm interested in Hook? I'm a married man.
right. I actually think that Captain Charming jokes aside, that Hook and Charming are one of the best developed relationships on the show. Because with Snow and Regina, which was the other big fight, I think they started fighting, and then at some point Snow was like, "Oh, Regina saved us all," but in between those two scenes, there wasn't very much development. But Captain Charming actually had an arc, a mini relationship arc, where they started to understand each other.
And
They
bond over
started to
their
like,
brothers.
yes.
I think there's too much going on in Neverland for them to even really start fixing the Snow and Regina relationship. I think Snow is the kind of person who will do exactly like that. Say, "Oh, Regina helped save us all." She'll do that. But in terms of actually fixing their relationship, that's such a huge arc. I don't
know. I
even
think
know if they'll ever get around to it.
I think it's just
doing
kind
it
of
justice.
difficult. It's a little bit difficult to forgive mass murder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
But
Yeah.
Snow is the kind of person who would. And that's what makes her so damn frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing about Charming and Hook is that, and I remember some other people on Tumblr saying this, Snow and Charming's group of friends, whether it be the dwarves or Red or Granny or whatever, they're Snow's friends. They're Snow's family. And Charming has never had a friend of his own until Hook. Hook is his friend. His
His
bro.
bestie.
You know?
They're besties now.
BFF.
Yes. The group of friends is Hook, Charming, and Tinkerbell. Seriously, those are Hook's friends, if you think about it. Hook's friends are Charming and Tinkerbell.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's
And you would
true.
think in that vein, if he's so buddy-buddy with Hook, that when they got off the ship back in Storybrooke, that he would have said something to the crowd about, hey, this dude did all this and helped save Henry, and but no.
No, I mean, I didn't
Even
need.
Regina got the,
Yeah,
you know,
because the
stuff-
writers
stuff got
felt
shit.
the writers felt the need to prop up Regina, and then, but I didn't think Hook really needed to be thanked by everyone. I mean, of course he did this good thing, but I didn't want him to be like, oh, I need everyone to acknowledge how great I am,
Yeah.
or something like that, because I hated it when in season 2 Regina was like pouting because people that she had tried to kill last week didn't want to eat her food. I mean,
The day
it's-
before. It wasn't
Yeah.
even the week.
I mean, and it's like, and then the show shows Regina's face with tears in her eyes because people are so mean to her, and they want us to feel sorry for her. I mean, I would hate if they took that approach with Hook. So I'm glad that they didn't go there.
Yeah,
remember
Hook
in-
doesn't need the
Recognition
same.
right before he
Remember
got a
in good
smooch on
form?
the lips.
Hook doesn't like to be thanked. It makes him feel uncomfortable.
yeah,
and
true.
he
Yes,
gets so
it's
shy.
true. It's true.
Remember in good form, he wasn't expecting a thank you. He was like, wait, what? You're thanking me? Why?
Yeah, he was, but it did mean a lot to him. You could tell that.
Yes.
He doesn't have the same need for validation that Regina does. He's comfortable with knowing that he's improving himself for a good reason, as opposed to everyone else acknowledging that he's improving himself.
And yet, at the same time, though, his self-esteem is like in the gutter.
No,
He
Yeah.
thinks that
Below the
he's
gutter.
like the worst person on the face of the planet.
Dude, it's below the gutter. His self-esteem, there's the gutter, and then there's like the end of the earth. Then there's his self-esteem.
I mean,
Except
only-
about
only
how
somebody-
handsome he is.
only somebody that had zero. Well, I don't want to say that he doesn't have any self-respect, but just feels so totally like shit. Only somebody like that would have practically drunk himself to death upon returning to Storybrooke, and then start flirting with the first thing female with a pulse. It was just so sad. It was so sad. Because
So-
we all know that he can be better than that.
Yeah. So since we were talking about Regina, Regina and Hook had an interesting conversation in this episode. What did you think? The ones about
I think
happy
it came back
endings.
again in the mid-season finale
Yeah.
with Gold, apparently, who wasn't even there for the conversation.
I know.
Cough, cough, subtle pan to Emma. Cough, cough.
That shit's not even subtle anymore. They're not even trying.
No, we're not.
They stopped trying.
By the time we get to going home, every time that they talk about she has to go Panda Hook. You've touched everybody's lives, Panda Hook. I mean, it's not even subtle anymore.
Yeah, I saw that the GIF on Tumblr with the hashtag subtle camera work there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, my favorite thing about Regina in Heart of the Truest Believer was it's what my favorite thing about Regina always is. She has some awesome lines. Fillet the bitch.
Unicorns and rainbow
And all those
stickers.
things, you know? Unicorn stickers and out of fish food. Like, Regina gets fabulous
Hey, the
lines.
bitch, charming.
Yeah, but about the actual conversation, other than the fact that it came back with the Rampor at the end, I thought that the whole they don't get bad people don't get happy endings. With Greg, it reminded me of the end of season 2 when Hook was saying that revenge was an end, not a beginning. So I think Hook already knew that, and he started his redemption before the finale, before Emma offered him. Asked him to be a part of something, which is part of the reason I believe his redemption arc more than I believe Regina and Rampor, because he didn't do it for one person. I mean, partly does it for Emma, but he realized that the life he led wasn't right before Emma was completely in the picture.
I
See,
think
this is
Hook is
why
interesting.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think Hook is interesting because he's a different sort of villain from Regina and Rumpel in that his main antagonist is another villain. You know, like good people, like Snow and Charming hero types, they're generally collateral damage with what Hook does because he's after people who are equally as bad as him, and he'll work with people who are as bad as him, or he'll work with people who are like good and hero types, depending on what he wants. He's a different sort of villain, and I think he owns that. I thought it was also interesting that he didn't answer Regina's question. He just kind of said, "Well, I hope not, or we've wasted our lives." He doesn't say, "Yes, I believe that," or "No, I don't." He just says, "I hope not."
Yeah, so I mean,
See, this is why I know that between episode, what was it, 15, no one has been able to exactly pinpoint when he broke his leg, but somewhere between, episodes 15 and 19, where he couldn't film because he couldn't walk. Even if he couldn't walk, I would love to have seen just a couple of simple scenes, him on his way back to Storybrooke in the back of that moving van,
seriously.
of what was going through his mind, because I'm sure that as he was coming back, however many days it was, he was letting it sink in the fact that in his mind, Rumpel was dead. He didn't know that Rumpel had survived. In his mind, Rumpel was dead, so now he was dealing with, oh, well, my enemy's dead, what now?
Yes,
And
they
he
were
had thought it was going to be a big, huge deal, like, oh, my life is complete, but it really wasn't.
yes, he realized.
Yeah, we really didn't
shit.
get much of that at all.
Yeah, and it was like he realized, oh shit, my revenge is done. Now what? Like, what can I do now? I thought it would feel better, but I just feel just as empty as I did before. Right.
And then episode 20, when Tamara gave him a spyglass and he saw that Rumpel was alive and with Lacey, and he has a life and he has love and he has a family and all this, and what does Hook have?
Nothing.
Shit, Jack, shit. He has nothing.
And that was
I think
acting
that
by Colin, because he just does the solo moment so well, and it was like you can see his eyes fall, like shit. All I did, and it didn't even face him. I need a new goal.
Yeah. And talking about lovely acting from Colin, I think a great scene was when Hook sees that Emma has survived her fall in the ocean. And I remember during the live tweeting of the episode, Jennifer was like, "Oh, look at that. Hook looks so relieved that time alive." And then,
She's such a shipper.
yeah.
Oh,
And then in some time later, in another interview, she was like, the audience realizes Hook's feelings more than Emma, because they can see his reactions, the little glints in his eyes when he looks at her, which I think she realized while watching him be so relieved in this episode, because it was really a lovely acting from Colin.
he
Also,
literally
he's lost so much on the Jolly Roger already in similar ways too, where people have died in his arms on that ship, and he just carries it with him every single day. So finally, the one person he needed most to survive did.
And then
Seen that gift said a lot.
And wasn't it in the exact same spot that Mila died, or something like that? I saw a post on Tumblr that it was close by or exact spot that Mila died, and
might have.
and now you see Emma breathe, and she's like, okay, she's not dead, I'm okay.
He literally couldn't breathe till he saw her breathe.
Yeah. And I think a really great moment could be when Hook realizes that Emma's heart can be taken. I don't know if it will ever happen, but I think it would be a lovely thing for him, because of course she can die in other ways. That's really sad. I don't know why I said that. I mean, but she can't die the same way that Mila died, which I don't know. It's something I think he should know. It will
It
make
is,
him
because it'd be
happy.
Honestly,
beautiful.
they made it happen for a reason, not just for the whole knocking out Cora. I mean, they are gonna bring it back. It is the sort of plot point that they have to bring back, and I think it's going to be with the evil witch. Well, evil wicked witch of the West.
I think Emma and Hook's relationship as it is won't become an actual acknowledged relationship on Emma's part until she does something huge for her. Because Hook does things for her like that are important for her all the time. And I think it's until Emma does something without even thinking, like big for Hook, probably some sort of saving his life when she shouldn't. It's not really going to be acknowledged fully on her part. I'm waiting for that in the second half of the season.
It will happen.
I mean, it started. I mean,
It must.
It started with him knocking at her door like Henry in season 1. So I think it's possible, I hope, that it will end the same way it ended with Henry, with the true love's kiss that she will use on him. I think it's a real possibility, very likely, because you know how Adam and Eddie love their parallels.
It's possible, but I still think it's a long shot.
I'm gonna also throw
We
out
have
there
to
though.
try.
Here's a question.
One of the, I'm sorry, just gonna throw this really in there really quick. One of the things from the Wizard of Oz is the poppies. So it's very likely that somebody could be put under some sort of sleeping curse.
Ooh.
Possible.
That just
We've
hit
already
me.
used poppies like that in season 2.
Here-
Yeah, you
With the
just
giants.
wake up. You just wake up from puppies. You don't need
Here's a question though in that same magical vein. During that fight on the ship, everyone seemed to be affected by whatever it was that the mermaid had called forth, except Emma. And I couldn't tell if it was something having to do with her own innate magic, and that it made her impervious to whatever the mermaid did, or it was just because what she did was she played off of everybody's issues with each other, and she just kind of brought that into the fore and made them fight. But Emma doesn't know the rest of them the way they all know each other, so she didn't have all those issues, so she doesn't have any reason to fight them.
Well,
So
sorry, I meant it's not like Hook and Charming know each other much more than Emma and Hook, Emma and Charming. I mean, I don't know if that's the reason.
She was the only one that didn't seem to be affected by it, and therefore she was the one that had to jump in the water and make them say, be like, hey, stop.
It was so dramatic. I'm going to jump off the ship. I really hope I have everyone's attention right now while I'm doing it, because otherwise I'm fucked.
And then she gets in the water and she's just like, I did not think this through.
No, not at all.
I mean,
that big block, and I'm like, oh, Lord.
I mean,
Lord.
it was about the fact that at least 3 out of 4 of the people who were fighting would stop anything to help her. If Regina had jumped off the ship, it would have been like, maybe Snow, maybe would have stopped to help her. I don't know.
Emma too. It's Henry's
Yeah,
other
maybe.
mother.
And Hook and Charming would have been like, whatever, we are still gonna fight each other.
They would have thrown something in and been like, well, if she grabs it, she might still be alive, but I'm not going in after her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone
because-
would go in after Regina. They'd be like, she has magic. She can, Poof herself back up.
Because like 3 hours earlier in the finale, and in the season 2 finale, Ook was like, she wants to die for us. Let her. Who cares?
Yes.
So I don't think he would have really
I will-
stopped.
I will never forget. Charming was trying to get Hook to, or Charming was trying to get Regina and Snow to stop fighting, and Hook just like, let the slags fight. And I'm like, oh, he did not just say that. He did not just call them slags.
What do you call my wife? Punch.
But no one on Tumblr seemed to know what that word meant. I knew what it meant.
You know what I meant.
That's just
I know what
because-
it means.
I think
I was pretty sure when I first watched it that he called them sluts, so
I don't think you can say that on ABC at 8.
I don't think you can either, but I think they picked it for a similar sounding reason.
Like, yeah, like in the Avengers when Loki said, he says something really old-fashioned because they can say can't. So he says, what does he call?
Yuling Quim.
Exactly, and and he said that because they needed someone who something that the censors wouldn't stop, wouldn't change. So I think it's basically the same thing with Ook and the old-fashioned words that he uses. And then, I mean, the last thing I wanted to say about this topic was, I think it's about what Charming said in episode 10. Emma is the leader, and the leader needs to keep a clear head. And that's what she proved during all the first part of season 3, that she's the leader, and she helped everyone in this journey.
I think it's also really Emma, she's still out of her depth in a lot of things, but she's the one who comes up with the stuff, you know? She realizes it's them who's causing the storm. She thinks up to blot out the moon so that they can get past with their shadows still there to save Henry after Rumpel goes through. She notices that there's something wrong. Like, she's out of her depth still a lot of times, but she's the one who notices these things and thinks up these things, whereas the others don't. And I think that's a really good thing that she does that, because it's great for her character.
She's also the one at the end of episode 1 who, when they finally come on shore and they're arguing about, you know, what course of action that they should take, she, you know, none of them can seem to agree because they all have their own ways of doing things. And she just says, look, I know that we don't agree on things. You're a pirate, you're a villain, you're this, you know, we all have our own separate ways of going about things. But this isn't about us. This is about Henry. And so you're going to listen to me, and I'm going to lead you, and you're going to put up or you're going to shut up, because, you know, she was just done. So she finally she managed to get them all these disparate people onto one focus. That I think is like one of her superpowers, is being able to inspire loyalty even amongst people that can't stand her.
Yeah, and every leader, it's a skill every leader should have. So yeah, it's good. And about that speech, I think very many people pointed out that she said pirate and villain. So she already doesn't think of Hook as a villain.
Well, she did always look at him throughout all of season 2 with an element of sympathy. Like, she knew where he was coming from. She always got it. Whereas everyone else immediately was like, you're a bad guy. But Emma was like, this is a grieving man.
Yes, and honestly, Emma's the only one that really kind of knows about Mila. Like, everyone else is like, oh yes, you want to kill Rumpelstiltskin. But nobody actually knows the reason he wants to kill Rumpelstiltskin. And Emma is like, he took more than your head from you, didn't he?
And then there's Belle, who just kind of goes, you want to kill Rumpelstiltskin, but I'm
Because-
going to ignore the reason why.
Because you're jealous of his good looks.
Oh God, don't even stand. Belle in that episode is such a mess. Like, oh yes, you have a rotten heart because you are painting your lost love. Oh, but said lost love was murdered brutally by my boyfriend. I still love you, honey.
Yeah,
If you want to talk about rotten hearts, let me write you up the list, okay? The fucking list of things that your boyfriend has already done. And
I'm ringing. Sorry.
And I think we're gonna have another Belle-centric episode 15, and so who knows what other
With Lumiere, though.
Yes.
I'm hoping that will be amusing.
We'll get more character development for him in one episode.
it would be amusing if they had a Cogsworth there too, but
Yeah. Maybe they do. And it's hidden. Because they want us to know.
And
you know, the funny thing though is Emma doesn't see Hook necessarily as a villain, just as a pirate, and she constantly brings up that whole, but you're a pirate, as if that stereotype, you know, at first she couldn't get out of the whole stereotype, you can't trust a pirate, but when she said it in episode 7, you're a pirate, therefore, you know, I couldn't be sure whether or not to trust that you would tell me about Neal being in the Echo Cave. I don't think she's saying it that out of this idea that she doesn't trust him anymore. It's almost, you're a pirate is almost become something of an endearment now.
Yes, sadly, Hook doesn't really see it that way. Because Hook
Yeah.
hears you're a pirate and he hears you're a scum. Because
And
everyone who says you're a pirate kind of means, oh, you're a scum of the earth, you're a horrible man. And hearing Emma say it, he's like, oh, well, okay.
I think Hook's reaction to being told you're a pirate is also part of his character development, because when Emma is like, you're a pirate in Tallahassee, it's like, oh, the pirate thing, and it's like laughing and he doesn't care. And then in season 3, when she says you're a pirate, he starts having a different reaction.
Well, it's also that going back to good form, where how he used to view pirates when he was an upstanding man of society. Now he's in love with this woman who is basically what he used to be, and imagining how she views that, like imagining that she views pirates the way he used to.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if Emma is really that much like young Killian. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he's really adorable, but I don't know if. What do you think Emma's reaction would be to young Killian? Because I don't think they're that much alike.
I think she'd find him hilarious. I think
Yeah,
if she ever found out that like he was once this super straight-laced lieutenant in the Navy, she'd just, I don't think she'd be able to handle it. I think she'd just burst out laughing.
Yes.
Yeah,
And imagine Charmin's reaction.
I think the Lieutenant Duckling fanfictions that people write are mostly with the young Emma and
Yes.
young Hook, but I think it would be hilarious to have some fanfiction in which somehow Emma right now, the Emma of today, meets Killian, because I think she would laugh her ass off. I think she would find him hilarious and also adorable, because he was. He had a ponytail, I mean.
There was one fic though where she somehow went back when she was young. She went back in time and met young Killian, and then in like Neverland, she remembers that was actually him, and she makes fun of him for the ponytail.
Yeah, but the fun thing, I think, would be the Emma of right now, who knows the hook of right now, going back and seeing the hook of then, of 300 years ago or whatever.
She would
Like,
scandalize him. She'd throw all his saucy lines at him, and he wouldn't know what to do.
We should write that fan fiction. It would be the Captain Swan podcast fan fiction. Let's write it.
We would have so much
Come on,
fan
he'd-
fiction.
Come on. He'd blush
I
and
think
he'd
we
get
could-
all red and my lady, yes, It would be hilarious.
Well, I think we can all kind of agree with the fact that as cute as they are as youngsters, that the Killian that she needs is not that young kid. The Killian that is suited for her is Hook.
Yeah, it
Absolutely.
was
Oh,
probably
that
a
is
virgin.
so
also.
spuffy.
I mean,
It is. It's the scene where where Spike goes back and gets his soul, and he's
Yeah.
William again, and she's like, "You're not what I need right now." I'm sorry. Yeah.
And
That was not the other fandom interjection I was expecting from you.
what were you?
I have a lot of fandoms.
Yes, we do.
What were you expecting?
Well, she warned us about Doctor Who.
All right.
Oh, I was a crying, blubbering mess for most of the day. So,
I noticed. I saw that.
Well, I haven't actually seen it because I know when I see it, I'm gonna get all wrapped up in it. So, and I need to do other things before I do that.
I didn't understand it. I mean, I wasn't paying much attention, but it was so weird. I mean, anyway, I don't understand Doctor Who. That's my big failing. And
But when
You're
it
going to
comes
revoke
to,
your Tumblr credentials.
when
I
it
mean-
comes to Hook's self-esteem, I mean, he doesn't give a damn about what anybody else thinks, but because of how deeply he loves Emma, he cares about what she thinks.
And what charming
and what
things.
charming things.
Somewhat.
that's-
but no, he's
that is
not-
actually what I meant. She fills that role of good guy that he used to fill. Not that they were the same, but she's that ideal to him now.
Yeah. And the last thing, I think, the last Captain Swan scene was when he's like, I quite fancy you from time to time when you're not yelling at me.
It was great.
Yeah.
He just interrupts her whole little speech, and she's like, I'm going to keep going and ignore what you just said because I do not have time for your flirting shit right now. I'm
mean-
being motivational.
It was so random, like,
Dude, her face was like, shut, hummy, shut up.
which is fun because now that we have seen all the season 3, the first half of season 3, you can see the evolution of Emma's reaction from in the premiere, from her bitch please face to his declaration, and in the finale her face and her good
Good.
to his other declaration. It goes from bitch please to silence but staring at him while he talks to good. It was a nice development there. But I also thought that the part when you're not yelling at me was kind of weird because she doesn't usually yell at him that much. I mean, when does she yell at him?
She doesn't really yell that much. It was a cute
I
line.
don't think she ever
Yeah.
has.
Because maybe in The Doctor, I don't know, when she was leaving him to the ogres.
Well, she kind of yelled at him a little bit in the finale of season 2.
But he was like quite passionate one. It's not like he didn't like her in that moment. I think he wanted to say, I like you, I fancy you all the time, but he didn't want to seem dorky.
She wasn't yelling at him because of something he said. She was trying to get him to put up or shut up, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you could also look at it the way I quite fancy you from time to time when you're not yelling at me. And if you think of the fact that she doesn't yell at him, then he fancies her all of the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's what he meant.
And it's that. See, it seems like that take the argument that people have that, oh, you know, all the stuff that he says, it's so rude and callous and disgusting. How could she, you know, how would you want to pair her with someone that says things like, okay, if she didn't like it, especially at that moment in Neverland where she had so much other stuff on her mind, saving her son and all this crap, if she really didn't like it and really didn't want to deal with him, trust me, Emma Swan is the type of person that is gonna let you know. So
she shut Graham down multiple times, and Graham was not nearly what Killian is.
I know, he was like the sweetest guy ever.
And
I mean, she practically put a boot up his ass because she thought he bought her a cup of hot chocolate. And it wasn't even him, it was him. So, yeah, if she doesn't like what you have to say, she's gonna tell you.
And dude, people forget that they're always like, oh yeah, she's always sending into windows her way. She sends them right back. Hello? There's a lot of sore places I can make you hurt. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
She sends them right back.
Mm-hmm. Trust. Honestly, I can't think of a single argument that anybody could possibly have left at this point. Is there really?
Oh, I've seen one. There's the theory on IMDb, which don't ever go there.
Don't.
That
If you
because
value your sanity, don't go there.
well, the theory that people have is that her kiss worked with Graham, but Killian's kiss did not work on her.
We don't know
I mean-
anything that it even didn't. And Emma was the savior. She wasn't like, neither she nor Graham were going for true love's kiss at that point.
And honestly,
I don't even know if it worked because she loved him, if not because she was true love incarnate
Graham
and
didn't
destined
even.
to break the curse.
I think
Graham
it was
didn't-
he
Well,
made
Graham had
her-
already started to remember on his own, so it wasn't her that did it. I think she
I think the
No, it was her
first
kiss.
did it.
the rest of it. But
Honestly, I think that Graham's kind of true love thing was to feel something. He wanted to feel something, and Emma made him feel something.
Yeah, because Graham didn't even have an heart, so how could he feel true love? I mean, it was not his fault. It wasn't like Cora who took out her own heart. But we saw with Cora that people without hearts can't really love. So, I mean, it could have been if they had taken back his heart, but at that moment, at that point, it wasn't. So.
Yes. That's why when he that's the first time when he remembers everything, he cries because
Yeah.
that was his point. It wasn't about loving Emma, although I do love Grandma and I did ship them back then. It was about having him feel something because he felt empty. And he wanted to feel something, and he did. That's why he was thank you. That's why he told her thank you.
And
There's also the element, that Graham and Emma knew each other before they kissed, whereas Emma had no clue who Killian was.
Yes.
Like, not at all.
And do you have some last thoughts about the episode or in general, Captain Swan? Last words?
About the episode?
Just a general warning to never ever go on IMDb. It is a bad place.
Never,
Do not go there.
never.
Yeah, you know what?
Only to look up who's in
Don't
what.
do it.
You know what's actually a good board? Television Without Pity. The Once Upon a Time Television Without Pity board is quite good recently. Sometimes those boards can be a bit much for other shows, but the ones for Once Upon a Time are quite good and reasonable, and I like reading them.
Okay.
Anyway,
thoughts
sorry.
For the episode?
Yeah. Yes. Go.
Aurora looked really good. Sorry, I just had to say it. She just looked really good. Where did you get that dress and the hair maker and the hairdresser in the destroyed enchanted forest? Please tell me.
Other
All
last thoughts?
All I gotta say is this, though. I think that this week we scored, or maybe last week we scored a major victory in the blog that shall not be named, that are very vocal about shipping Swan Thief, Swan Fire, whatever the fuck you call it. They're 75% of them have now moved towards Captain Swan with one episode. So, yeah, victory is nigh.
I did notice that in season 3 a lot more people recently started shipping Captain Swan. Because
Okay, like me.
like the FES Salmon Hook blog basically gained 3,000 followers after the kiss. It was insane.
Dude, revenge is a dish best for served cold, and this is a revenge for everything. Everyone who called us delusional in season 2. It's so delicious.
We've been through some things, and now we've come out the other side.
Yes.
Okay, two last things about the donor fandom. The Captain Swan Awards are going on round 3, so you can go to Captain Swan Awards on Tumblr and nominate your favorite fanfiction graphics, and you can see all the categories there. And then there's also a meme, 8 quotes, 7 scenes, 6 episodes, etc. You can do if you are on Tumblr during while waiting for Once Upon a Time to come back. We have this podcast is quite long, but maybe we can do it in one of the following podcasts. Yeah, it could be fun. And that's it. This is the longest one yet.
Yes,
I see this each week, so this is the last. Sorry.
Don't forget January 5th People's Choice Awards.
Yeah, January 5th. Really, I didn't. I forgot the date. Anyway, the People's Choice Awards work like this. Only the winners get invited. So if we see the cast and Colin and Jennifer there, it means we won. Otherwise,
Or Once Upon a Time won.
Yeah, or Once Upon a Time won. So hopefully they will be invited. So anyway, this is the last podcast of the year, because the year is over. So Happy New Year, everyone, and we'll see you next year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, guys.